In today's AEN hearing. It's Monday, February 5th, 2024. We're in room 224. We're also video conferencing, which includes audio and video of remote participants, and it's being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have any any tech problems, we'll reconvene on Wednesday, February 7th at 1 p.m. in room 224. During AEN's time slot, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. And then because of our 90-minute time limit for hearings, there'll be a 2-minute time limit for all testifiers. All right, we'll start off. We have 2 items on the agenda. Start off with SB 2363, requiring the Department of Ag to establish a 2-year ag crime pilot project to examine the effectiveness of prosecuting agricultural crimes, including ag theft and ag vandalism in the city and county of Honolulu and county of Kauai. First up is Department of Ag.
Good afternoon, Dexter Kishida, Department of Agriculture. We stand in strong support of this bill. Would like to add a few comments that Hawaii Island has also responded and would love to participate in this pilot. And we estimate each position costing about $120,000 for these types of positions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next is Wendy Gady from ABC.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. Wendy Gady, ADC, and we stand in strong support of this bill. Farmers are not the first to raise their hand in any occasion, let alone if they have lost plants, keiki, or product, or had their tractor have parts removed. So we stand in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Next is Brian Miyamoto from Hawaii Farm Bureau.
Good afternoon, Chair, Senator Rhodes. Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. We're in strong support of this measure. Ag crimes, the bill says $14.4 million. It's probably a lot higher than that. It's probably way underreported. We do suggest, Chair, if you do move this bill forward, that the committee take a look, or the legislature take a look at Act 217 of 2019. If you recall, Chair, that's when we established the pilot program, the 2-year pilot program for the county of Hawaii. So there is some precedent in this. There's also a report that was done by the Department of Agriculture. So we do suggest taking some of those best practices and some of those learned lessons as we move forward. We absolutely support having dedicated agriculture law enforcement, or folks that look at law enforcement for agriculture. We talked about it in the past, underreporting, law enforcement not necessarily prioritizing ag crimes. So this pilot program will go a long way to help with agricultural crimes, hopefully reduce that number, that $14.4 million reported number. Another suggestion, Chair, in the city and county of Honolulu, we have ag crime stoppers. There's also student crime stoppers and animal crime stoppers. Let's do an agricultural crime stoppers also as part of that program, not just in Honolulu, but in all the counties if possible. I think that would also go and help reduce the incidences of ag crimes. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you. Next is, well, that's it. We have in person also Nicole Galassi from Hawaii Cattlemen's Council, Kenny Levin from, they're all in support. Anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? Members, any questions? Okay, I got a question for DOA. So the 2-year pilot, Dexter, that you guys had on the Big Island in Maui, right?
Yes.
Did you learn anything from that you'll be able to apply to Kauai and Honolulu counties in terms of? Yeah.
We were, I'm sorry, Dexter Kishida, Hawaii Department of Agriculture. We were able to gather some data, especially on the cost of, again, coming up with that $120,000 price tag for the cost of employee. But also, I think we'll be able to tailor some of the scope that will be used for these positions and how to best go about it. Granted, there's a ton of challenges on finding this, because a lot of the data was intermixed in regular crime data, but being able to extract it from that report, did show a significant number that we can go after.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to SB 2431 relating to ag loans, establishes the Agricultural Emergency Loan Revolving Fund to be administered by Department of Ag to fund Class D loans, declares the general fund expenditure ceiling is exceeded. First up is Luis Salaveria from Department of Budget and Finance. Submits comments. We have the Attorney General on Zoom. Oh, we have him in person.
Good afternoon, Chair, Senator Rhodes, Kelsey Nagata, Deputy Attorney General, providing comments on SB 2431. Currently, the bill does not explain why the Class D emergency loans could not be made with funds obtained through general fund appropriation process or even the existing agricultural revolving fund established in Section 155.-14. Accordingly, we provided language in our testimony that would recommend that this bill include an explanation of why the why the emergency loan program cannot be implemented successfully with general funds. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you. And then Department of Ag.
Thank you. Dexter Kishida, Hawaii Department of Agriculture. We stand in strong support. We have definitely noticed that especially recently with climate change affecting much of our farming and ag community, emergency loan programs are becoming more and more necessary. So having a designated loan fund like this will be very helpful for our farmers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Brian Miyamoto, Hawaii Farm Bureau.
Thank you, Chair. Members of the committee, Brian Miyamoto here on behalf of the Hawaii Farm Bureau. We're in strong support of this measure. I think you heard the deputy talk about all the emergencies that our farmers and ranchers are having to deal with, natural disasters, global epidemic, pests, diseases, high winds, thunderstorms, hurricanes, wildfires, floods, earthquakes. Here we have to deal with lava, with VOG, other volcanic activities, droughts, and tsunamis. So we agree, having a dedicated fund for emergency loans, I think would be prudent. We would hate for the department not to have the funding for these emergencies, not if, but when our farmers and ranchers are impacted by them. Also, Chair, we appreciate your hearing SB 3024 last week, which would reduce the fixed interest rate for emergency loans. So just as a reminder, we would support the 2%. Again, emergency loans are necessary, but lower interest rates will help our agricultural producers here in Hawaii. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else wishing to testify on 2431? Seeing no one, members, any questions?
Just one, Chair.
Senator McCoy?
Dexter, please. What is a class D loan?
Oh, it just delineates what interest rate percentage that they'll be paying. And so like Brian Miyamoto said from Hawaii Farm Bureau, if the prior bill that he mentioned passes, it'll be a 2% interest rate versus X above prime. Like I think it's so many percent above prime.
So D would be X
The
above prime.
low. No, D currently will be, I think, so I can get back to you on the exact percent above prime. But if the bill that was heard last week to make static 4% for regular loans, 2% for emergency loans passes, then it'll be a 2% interest rate for emergency loans. So we really hope the two bills, this one and the prior, will pass.
So you saying that's a D, that would be the
That would
D
be a
loan?
D loan,
And the
correct?
2%?
Correct, correct.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, members, we'll just go into decision-making if that's okay on these two measures. Any questions? On SB 2363, the chair will recommend that we got to do something to help our farmers. This is a continuing problem. We've already done so Big Island and Maui, and now it's Honolulu and Kauai's turn to partake, so to speak. And so the chair's recommendation will be to pass as is. Any discussion? We're on SB 2363. Let's see.
It's me.
So chair votes aye. Vice
Chair's recommendation, SB 2363, is to pass unamended. Chair Gabbard votes yes. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Wah.
Aye.
Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you, members. And then on SB 2431, establishing the Ag Emergency Loan Revolving Fund, be administered by the Department of Ag, Chair's recommendations to pass as is. And we will include in the committee report the recommendation by the AG's office that H2A explain why the Class D emergency loan program cannot be implemented successfully with general funds. Any discussion? Chair votes aye.
Chair's recommendation on SB 2431 is to pass unamended. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair is excused. Senator Coit.
Aye.
I'll vote yes. Senator Awa.
Aye.
Recommendation's adopted.
And that concludes the 1 o'clock agenda.